Our next work is a real treat. Paul informed me that Robert Benson, one of the members here of the choir, sounds like quite a gifted gentleman, jack of all trades. Composer, I believe, is engineering or architecture? All right, outstanding. So you got that side of the brain and the artistic side of the brain in Mr. Benson. So this beautiful work, As the Deer Longs for the Waterbrooks, and we're blessed with a cello solo along with piano and choir.
As the deer
feel bad. I forgot to announce our organist. That's what happens when they call you up at 4 o'clock and Paul says, you're on. So, very fortunate to work with Kelly at CCM when I was getting my doctorate back in the day. So when Paul said that he's the organist here, I was super excited. So Kelly, it's great to work with you. That was a joy. Our next piece is by Morton Lauridsen. By far, probably within my realm of my top favorite choral composers, probably the top 3 or 5 even. Morton Lauridsen is what many refer to one of the few what they call mystics in the composers of this century. It's basically oftentimes a term they just give a composer who has really kind of reached an incredibly deep spiritual level of composition. His music just touches the soul like you would not believe. One thing he's famous for is a piece called O Magnum Mysterium. And some of you may have heard that before. Maybe you've heard different arrangements of it. A lot of composers have tried their hand at that text. Most people are familiar with Victoria. And I remember years ago reading an essay from a world-class conductor that was sitting and listening to the premiere of Lauridsen's O Magnum Mysterium. And up to that point, nobody had topped Victoria's arrangement. If you talk to choral composers or conductors, everybody loved Victoria's version. But when they heard Lauridsen's, they felt for the first time in hundreds of years, someone had challenged him in just immense beauty and deepness of literature. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I would strongly encourage you, once you hear this piece, you're probably going to want to go out and listen to more of his repertoire. He's such a neat guy. He has an old wood cabin out on an island just off the coast of Washington State. It's dilapidated. It doesn't have like heat or electricity or anything. And it has this kind of junky piano right in the middle of it. And he just goes out there to convene with God and just be with Him, the Lord, and nature itself, and just let it move him in song. And you just really sense his deep spirituality as you hear his music. This is Sure on This Shining Night.
Sure
to pick things up a little bit. This is the piece, Soon I Will Be Done with the Troubles of the World. William Dawson is an amazing composer. Had one of his first larger works premiered when he was but in his 20 years old by the Kansas Symphony. And what makes that really amazing is he was growing up through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, died in the 90s, lived to be 90 years old. But he was growing up in a time with segregation and difficulty with racism and all those struggles. And yet I really believe that his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, is what stayed him, helped him through those storms, and allowed him to keep a super positive spirit and write some of the most beautiful Negro spirituals you've ever heard. Brilliant composer, amazing way of working with like consonants to become percussive and almost give like a percussion feeling to the pieces. Just if you've never heard Ezekiel Sawed a Wheel, I'd encourage you to go pop on YouTube and listen to that. A really amazing piece that he literally gets human voices and working together to sound like the moving of a train. It's amazing. This piece is powerful and touches my heart because it talks about, I want to see my mother when we go to heaven. I just lost my mom last January, and so it has a special place in my heart because I pray that one day I'll get to see her too. Powerful piece by William Dawson. Soon I will be done with the troubles of the world.
The world.
close with the well-known, "The Lord bless you and keep you."
Thank all of you for gathering here with us this afternoon. To all the musicians and to all of you and your generosity, we are grateful for all the work that is being done here. And also, I think we owe Dave